from the heart of Ball State University. Live from the Unified Media Newsroom, NewsLink Indiana Midday starts right now.
Good afternoon and welcome to NewsLink Indiana Midday. I'm Samantha Johnson. Construction projects continue across campus as part of Ball State's campus master plan. Students were transported safely to school after that. Officials say it took 45 minutes to get that bus back on its wheels. This $4.8 million store will be located on Tillotson Avenue in Muncie. The new store is expected to open in late May. Muncie Gras will go on rain or shine, but if you haven't gone in the past, this is your last chance to do so.
Yeah, that's right.
The unrestricted status means the school can use it for areas that have the greatest need. Cleanup efforts continue in the Bahamas after Hurricane Dorian ripped apart the islands. Abaco and the Grand Bahamas saw the worst damage, and the people who survived are returning to neighborhoods devastated by strong winds, heavy rain, and a relentless storm surge. The National Weather Service has issued a winter storm watch for tomorrow night through Saturday evening. Also tonight, an Eaton man was arrested after allegedly starving two pit bulls in his home. 22-year-old Brock Clark was arrested Wednesday afternoon and charged with 2 counts of cruelty. Now, if you're anything like me, I have technology with me all the time, but looking down at those cell phones and computers may be linked to health problems. Founder Charles Lazarus has died a week after the company announced plans to close. Lazarus started the company in 1948 at the age of 25. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and local Muncie businesses are coming together to help spread awareness. Val Jones has the story. That's going to do it for us this afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Samantha Johnson. Be sure to tune in to NewsLink Indiana tonight at 6:57 on WIPV-TV. Have a great rest of your day.
Let's go down baseline and introduce you to the third member of our crew now and say hey to Samantha Johnson.
Hey Joel, what's unique about that Chippewa starting lineup is the fact that it has been the exact same all 26 games so far this season. So if you'll remember, Coach Whitford was actually with the Miami program from 1994 to 2005. And Coach Whitford said while that doesn't necessarily make them elite, it does make them unusual. That's because the continuous shifting of their defensive structure. And for Ball State, really the key is just to read and react. At the half, Coach Matt Crenshaw told us that the key to combating the Chips will be getting those deeper post catches and having physically stronger possessions on the offensive side of the ball.
Sam, thank you.
It is Coaches versus Cancer Suits and Sneakers Week in the basketball world. And if you see both sides of the ball tonight, coaches will be wearing sneakers. They did not forget their shoes at home in order to raise awareness and funds for the American Cancer Society. He is incredibly aggressive under the rim. And today in shoot around, Coach Whitford told his men they have to be physical as heck under the rim if they wouldn't be able to stop McKay. Welcome back inside Worthen Arena. Second half action coming up in just a moment. One thing to keep note of, Joel and David, is the fact that last week against Akron, Miami brought out a new lineup for the second half. We caught up with Coach Matt Crenshaw at the half. He said if that does happen, the key for the Cards will be understanding that personnel. President Murrens, the uniforms aren't done after the game ends. Tell us what's happening for them.
Yeah, so after the game today, we're going to auction off both the men's and women's jerseys.
And how were you able to contain Ball State's best when other teams haven't been able to?
You know what? It's fairness. I'm just happy with the guys.
The second half comeback here inside Worthen Arena. What was the difference for your men down the stretch?
Yeah, I think this year in this conference, I don't think there's any conference from top to bottom that's as equal.
From sideline to sideline, home and away, high school competition fields across the state of Indiana are lined year-round with passionate players, coaches, and fans. But recently, the Indiana High School Athletic Association has put an emphasis on connecting that passion to sportsmanship. In January, executive leaders from the IHSAA reported the total number of unsporting events at high school games has gone down compared to the 2017-2018 seasons.
So coach ejections are down, unsporting reports in general are down, ejection of student athletes are down.
Despite the upward trend, some argue there's more to the story.
It almost sounds to me like they've concentrated on one issue and had success there, and there's another issue that they've kind of forgotten and it needs to be addressed.
The same report from the IHSAA revealed there was one area of sportsmanship that had gotten worse, and in fact, much worse.
But what we see increasing, 75% or more over last year's numbers, are the ejections of our fans.
A recent study from the National Association of Sports Officials surveyed nearly 20,000 officials across the nation, and they found the number one reason why officials did not return to the field was because of unruly treatment from the fans in the stands.
The reason they leave the profession is because of the way they're treated. And it's a lot to ask of an individual to be perfect But that seemingly is what our fans continue to expect.
When it's emotional, you yell. That's like water off a duck's back to me. When they intentionally say something trying to make a point, that I sit there and I go, what they're doing is trying to disrespect me.
A high school football referee with 29 years of experience, John Martin argues this type of behavior stems from the idea that parents often watch the game with their heart instead of their eyes.
It's our society, and they don't look at the game with the blinders that a referee does.
And I will tell you that that $5 ticket is not a license to berate someone on the court or the field. But we're seeing that happen.
The question facing the IHSAA now becomes who was initially responsible for changing this behavior and for keeping our referees in their pinstripes.
I think it starts from the top in the schools. It starts with if you want to go to the top, you can go as high as the superintendent, but inside the building, the principals, the counselors, the teachers.
I think it's everyone's responsibility. There's not one soul who could stand there and point to another and say, it's your job. Certainly not mine.
From the sidelines to the stands, the discussion is clear. Without high school officials, there are no high school sports.
I don't remember having to have the conversation about what's appropriate behavior. But that's a normal conversation now. But our schools are having them.
Reporting from Indianapolis, Samantha Johnson, NewsLink, Indiana.